Welcome again.
Welcome back
to another episode of the Brothers That Be. Today we have for you some more. We got two movie reviews.
Two reviews again.
We try and keep it pretty standard.
One for each of us.
But yeah, we got some good ones. So today we're going to be talking about, well, at least for myself, Rise of Planet of the Apes.
The
This
monkeys.
Is out in theaters, man. Okay.
The monkeys.
Get ready for monkeys and James Franco and.
James Franco.
Yeah, pretty much. He pretty much pushes the big red button that ends the world. So.
See,
but,
it's like Bush.
Anyways, yeah, and you got,
I saw
something good to talk
Rango
about.
on DVD with Johnny Depp's voice.
Yeah, there's
It's
a
a
few
good
other,
review.
There's a few other people
It's
in
a
there.
good review.
Those came out.
That just came out. I saw that, so I've got that review for you.
Yeah, we're gonna.
So those are
you
our
know,
two reviews for.
That's what we got to talk about. That's pretty much all we've gotten around to. We've been trying to keep busy.
We've got some.
You know,
We've
trying
got
to
some
keep this channel
editing
going. So,
things that we've been working on that you'll see in this episode.
Yeah, we're slowly figuring out this YouTube thing. But yeah, so
Live.
to the reviews.
Okay, so we're gonna start with Planet of the Apes because that's the big one in theaters.
Right now, it's
Everyone's
big.
talking about it.
Okay.
This guy saw it. What do you think?
This movie is so refreshing. Honestly. Like, out of everything that's come out this summer, Harry Potter, Captain America, Cowboys and Aliens, you know, I mean, you're just the major ones, you know. This one does it. I'm so glad this movie came out and was made the way it was made. It's the perfect homage as well, if you're worried about the original for Planet of the Apes. This is like, there's a few little nods that just really sets it, you know, it just sets it and you're just like, oh yes, that's what I'm talking about, but this really is, it's almost, I don't want to say it's like flawless, because people probably disagree with me, but this movie just, it is very character driven. Okay, you hear Rise of the Planet of the Apes and you're like revolution and all this, but it's not really, okay? I mean, when the movie starts, it's like a very deep blue sea feeling.
Okay.
You know,
Sharks.
with like Saffron Burrows and Thomas Jane.
Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson gets eaten by a shark in this movie.
That is one of the worst.
So, okay,
one of the worst
see it?
CG effects ever.
But it feels very much like that. It's James Franco, you know, and he's like this kind of unspecified.
127 hours.
James
Franco is awesome.
Yeah, okay, that's a good movie. But I don't have a lot of good things to say about James Franco in this.
Really?
You know, it starts and he's just like, he's this kind of like nameless scientist, and you know, and he's like, they're working on.
He's a scientist.
He
plays a scientist.
He plays like a brain doctor, because there's never
Compared
really
to
like
his
a
usual
title.
roles,
There's never really
not
like
very
a title
much
that he's
smart.
given. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, they're trying to like play him up a little bit.
Okay.
And I thought he fell a little short. You know, a couple times later on in the movie, he's good in the beginning, but later on in the movie, when it starts to get a little more serious, he just isn't. He's not very believable.
Okay.
You know, and you're like,
You think of him as.
but
James
don't worry
Franco.
about it, because to be perfectly honest, he's not in the movie a lot.
He's not the star.
It's all about Caesar, the ape, in this movie, played by Andy Serkis, the motion capture.
Now he's the guy that did Lord of the Rings.
He's the same guy who did Gollum for Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And he also did like the motion capture for Kong and King Kong, which is also Peter Jackson.
See, that
okay?
one.
But this, I give my hat off to Weta Digital, because they did the effects for this, all the visual effects. There are no real apes in this entire movie.
So it's all
everything is
computerized.
digital. Everything is digital or a practical effect.
Okay.
And
so how does it look real?
It is so good. Never once do you really feel like you're just sitting there and watching all these fake apes. I mean, you're just completely hooked. By the second act of the movie, I like to think of it, it turns into this prison film. And it's like Shawshank Redemption meets like The Last Castle. And it's so good, it's so compelling, and it's all Caesar. There's like entire sequences of just Caesar interacting with these other apes because he's put in a kennel, and and in comparison, it's like being put in prison for him, and it breaks him at first, and when he and it's so perfect. Like there's just moments where it's like the top dog in the yard comes and faces him and beats him down on the first day, and there's like these things that happen to him and totally set him up for by the end of the movie he's just this revolutionary, and he's rising up, and that's exactly what it is. It's so good. It's really good. It's not a lot of action. You're gonna get action the third act, and it's all gonna take place on like the Golden Gate Bridge.
So all the trailers to show the whole thing is nonstop. That's all at the end.
No, that's only at the end of the movie.
Okay.
And I'm so glad for it, because the movie benefits so much from the fact that it's a complete character-driven movie. It's all story. It's all preparing us for Planet of the Apes, and it's just everything. It's a very emotional movie.
Okay.
Like you're gonna feel a lot, because there's a couple of scenes, especially I love going back to the whole second act, because that's like the meat and potatoes of the movie in my opinion. This is the best stuff of the movie. When he's like first getting put into the kennel, and he's like, sign languaging to James Franco, like, are we going home? And he's like, not today, Caesar. And the heartbreak, like Andy Serkis, his facial and all of his body and everything, it is so good. Like, you're heartbroken. And I can't, it's just great. And then there's little nods, for Planet of the Apes, like they talk about, Lost in Space and all this, and that stuff's awesome for us who've seen the original, because you're like, yeah, boy.
Charlton Heston.
But it's a solid movie. It's really good. It's really surprising for the fact that it's Planet of the Apes, but it takes itself super serious, and I'm so glad it did, because it benefited a lot from it. It made it such a better movie, and the director Rupert Wyatt, I believe. He hasn't really done a lot before this. He did The Escapist with Brian Cox, and Brian Cox is in this for a minute as like the head of the kennel, and he knocks it out of the park. I mean, it's really good. It's really good. I loved it, every second of it.
Sounds like a good. Good movie.
And then the action at the end on the Golden Gate Bridge is it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like a peaceful revolution. Like Caesar, people will die, but Caesar doesn't really condone like the apes just going ham on people, and just like tearing them up, You will get to see a gorilla versus a horse, which is awesome. Okay, so prepare yourself. And a gorilla versus a helicopter, which if any of you have seen the sizzle reel, that came out of Comic-Con earlier this year. Oh man, that moment, and then what happens after? You're gonna be to tears. I kid you not. It is like so good, and like words aren't even spoken, and it's that good. It was a solid movie. Solid. The ending was the only thing that had me worried, that had me a little skeptical, because on my first viewing, right after like while I was watching it, I was like, well, if it happens like that, I mean, I don't see us getting to Planet of the Apes. I understand it has to be generations and generations of, this like evolution, but still, it was kind of like it's a peaceful revolution almost, and they just kind of get away, and you're like, well, I don't know, like how do they get there from there? But the movie does this really nice thing about, without trying to spoil too much, a lot of the virus that's used that benefits the apes and makes them so smart has very, very negative effects on people, humans. And we find this out with, James Franco's father, who's played by John Lithgow in the movie, who he has Alzheimer's, so that's like a lot of the reason why Franco is promoting this so much in the beginning. He wants to cure Alzheimer's, But, so I'm like, okay, I could see humans going extinct down the line eventually, and not being so much from the apes. But, it's really good. It's really good. And Caesar speaks.
Talks.
He talks. There's a moment. It's not like you're gonna see apes talking in this movie, okay?
Right.
You're gonna see the exact opposite. You're just gonna see moments of silence, and you're gonna wanna just cheer. But yeah, when he speaks, it's really, really powerful. So he says little, but a lot at the same time, and it's really good. It's a solid movie. Solid movie. But like I said, James Franco is kind of a little weak in it. You know, Frida Pinto is also in this movie. She's James Franco, like, love interest. And whatever. I'm glad she was barely in the movie because she brought nothing to the table. And other than that, seriously, just Andy Serkis.
Yeah, he's supposed to be pretty good.
Check him out in other stuff. Like, don't just see his motion capture movies. Like, watch, like, Burke and Hare with him and Simon Pegg. This is British comedy. Funny. It's the bee's knees. And, but yeah, no, it was great. It was great. So go see it. It's still in theaters, and you're not going to regret seeing it. Especially if you like the original. If you like the original, if you're a fan, then you're really going to love this.
Planet of the Apes.
You're really going to love this movie because knocked it out of the park. It was a good one. And, yeah, that's about it, man. I was happy. I had a good time watching it. So.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
When it comes out on DVD.
This strictly DVD.
That's my thing. And,
it's cool though.
But
yeah. So
I was gonna do Rango in this episode.
Yeah.
We ran a little long.
Oh man.
Since
I apologize.
Some guy
it's a good
talks.
movie, okay? It's a good movie. I couldn't say enough about it.
It's really good. It sounds really good.
But check it out, man.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes. You should see you should see the original with Heston.
Definitely still watch the original.
It's a good one.
I love the original. You know.
As long as you're okay, you're like, oh, this looks old.
Oh, you still get in this one, in the new one, you still get the damn dirty ape, get your paws off me. You still get this, and it's like
awesome.
I don't know. I don't want to spoil it because it's so good. The response after they say it, you're gonna love it. Go see this movie right now.
Just for the ape against horse fight.
Oh, the gorilla v horse.
Gorilla versus horse. That sounds good.
That's gonna be like the new Ultimate Fighter. Gorillas and horses.
So that's it. That sounds like you should go see it right now.
It's a definitely go see.
You should go see it right now.
It's a definitely go see. So but yeah, we'll have. We'll be back.
Watch another episode and then go see it.
Yeah.
But wait.
You gotta wait and see Rango.
Watch the next review for Rango.
Because you don't.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Come on.